I'm here with Franco Minitel, and today we're talking about numerology. Franco, thank you for being here with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and your experience with numerology?
Well, thanks, Adele, for having me on the show. As far as numerology goes, my background is engineering, and I've always been surrounded by numbers. I've done fairly decently in math throughout school, and so to fall into the practice of numerology was just a natural flow for me. And I'm big on searching for meaning in life and looking for interconnections between various esoteric arts. And so numerology was just a natural progression for me. Cool.
What are the origins of numerology?
Well, numerology dates back to at least, at minimum, 2,000 years ago and more. The Chinese were working with numbers back then. The Greeks and the Egyptians were as well. And even a lot of the mathematical theorems, when Pythagoras was working out all his geometry and math functions, numerology played a part of it, because back then the important thing to remember is that science and spirituality had no division. It was all one. Whereas nowadays we tend to be a bit more, it's science or it's spirituality, with a big divide between the two.
And that's interesting, because my next question talks about that. We want to know more about that divide. How does numerology complement other divinatory arts like astrology, like clairvoyance or tarot?
Well, numbers factor into all of these. In astrology, you have chart degrees. In tarot, the cards are all numbered, so you can understand how the numbers play into these other esoteric arts. So you've got your Three of Swords or your Three of Wands, and understanding what the three means in numerology adds to your understanding of the tarot card. The other thing is, in astrology, there's a lot of similar type of aspects of numerology, such as the ascendant in astrology to the expression in numerology. Numbers that are very similar.
Interesting. How can someone begin to learn numerology?
There are courses out there. You can find teachers out on the web, in your local community. Also reading books. There are several good books out there on numerology.
Do you have any specific recommendations for good books?
Well, mainly by the authors, and Goodwin is one of them, Jordan Juno, Evelyn Hitchcock, and Hans Dick Coase. I think I'm pronouncing his name right, but they've written excellent books on numerology. Now the thing is, I read them all, and not just one, because everyone misses a little piece of the puzzle, or they have a different take. And for me, I found that reading all the books allowed me to fill in gaps where other books were missing certain points of information.
What would be some of the common misconceptions that people have about numerology?
Actually, numerology isn't let's say, it doesn't have as many misconceptions as, say, astrology. Whereas astrology, people think, oh, the horoscope, it never works. Numerology, I think people are probably a bit more in tune to, because the fact that we're in a scientific-minded, critical analysis type of society, and so understanding numbers seems to kind of go hand in hand.
Could you share with us a story on a successful real-life application of numerology?
Let's see. Okay, I've got a story. There's a reading for a person I was doing. This woman came to see me, and we're discussing, personality traits and what kind of life, what kind of thinking she had. But she got to the point of her husband, and she was complaining about him because he was always giving things away, but yet he was a business owner. And that frustrated her to no end. And calculating his numerological chart, what I was able to see was that he was 9 life path. And the 9 is someone who is a philanthropist, someone who wants to help other people. So as far as being a business owner, it wasn't quite a great combination because he was always constantly doing work for free, and this drove his wife, who was very structured and very organized and very focus-driven, absolutely nuts. So she understood why now.
Huh. That's fascinating. What would be some of the biggest obstacles that a person could have that's trying to learn or understand numerology?
Well, numerology is actually one of the simplest esoteric arts out there. The only drawback would be, I guess, if you have trouble memorizing things. Numerology is a lot of memorizing and understanding, but as far as math goes, there isn't too much involved in math because you're dealing with numbers 1 to 9.
So a person doesn't even have to be good at math to understand numerology?
No, definitely not. No, if you just have to look at a number and then add 2 numbers together and reduce them down to a number between 1 and 9.
Interesting. What other arts are you skilled in?
I work in a lot with astrology. I work with tarot. I work with the Viking runes. Let's see, what else do I do? I work with energy as well. And all these arts, to me, I find interrelated. So jumping from one to the other is pretty easy, and I always gain benefit from understanding all the different facets of the other esoteric arts.
So you find a lot of interconnectivity with the different arts.
And life, too.
Okay, great. Do you have any projects that you're working on personally, any pet projects right now?
And nothing outside of teaching classes, and we've got a couple of classes coming up. I've got a rune workshop, let's say, happening at the White Flame Candle Company in July. I'm also thinking about writing a book. I've been told by several readers and doing exchanges, readings, I need to write a book, so that's something else to add on to my plate.
Super. Well, it's been great having you on, Franco. We thank you for your time again. If you'd like to learn more about Franco, visit his website at www.soulbody.ca. Thanks, Franco. Have a great night.